It's Carter, man. Got my waffle hat on. Bought this directly at the Waffle House, my favorite one way up in Williamsport, Maryland. And I'm wearing it because, you know, the old saying, what's the difference between Waffle House and Denny's? Well, Denny's is like Waffle House without the fights, right? I like the fights, all right? Waffle House is kind of a glorified truck stop, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of a truck stop person, all right? So I like that ambiance, I like that atmosphere, I like that environment. And so I'm wearing my Waffle House hat to let you know I'm up for a fight, okay? I'm up for a fight. And I'll tell you why. We just won an incredible victory. Those of us who are conservative went out there and fought. We stood strong, we stood tall, despite all the assaults on us. Horrible, the worst assaults in political campaign history, okay? Worst assaults. Kamala Harris should be ashamed of herself if she had any shame, which we know from the time she was with Willie Brown. Till now, she simply doesn't. She's incapable of it, okay? So we withstood all that, and now we have won the big victory. We won a major MAGA victory, a landslide. It's a landslide. And some of our politicians, and even some of the people I know, are talking about extending the olive branch, reaching across the aisle, being nice to people. Remember, I talked about this in my previous post, and I'm not done. Because I have a message for those who want to do that. Shut up. Just shut up. Crawl back in your hole with your tail between your legs and assume the fetal position, okay? Because you're destructive, totally destructive. We won a victory against a totalitarian attempt to take over our country. That's what we just survived. We would have had our little children in elementary schools. This is what Harris was for, and the Democrat Party. Our little children in elementary schools instructed from the time they're in first grade that it's time for them to make a decision whether they're a boy or a girl. And then if it's a boy who decides it's a girl, go have that horrifying surgery. Folks, Google it. Google just pictures of how they mutilate little boys when they transition them. It's sick. Any doctor who does it is sick. They are violating the Hippocratic Oath, and they ought to be stripped of their credentials, period. And yet that was going to become the White House enforced policy of the land. Okay, that's what this woman was going to bring us. You might have seen Jim Brown's daughter at Trump's final rally talking about, I'm for Donald Trump because we can't have men in women's sports. This is dangerous. Harris was pushing it, and the Democrat Party. Remember what our adversaries pushed and would have done to us, inflicted upon us. All of you out there saying, well, we need to be nice now. No, we don't. We need to fight back and make sure they never raise their ugly heads again. Okay? So what they were pushing, as Jim Brown's daughter explained it, she said, look, I play tackle football. She said, I play defense. Can you imagine, had I ever tried to tackle my father? She said, I would have been in the hospital. Well, that's what Kamala Harris and the Democrats wanted to do to our daughters, okay? And yet I get this message from people, now's the time for a big tent and be nice. Mike Johnson, Milquetoast Mike, I call him. I call him Milquetoast Mike. You know, look, I want you to think for a second. He reminds you of that cousin you had growing up who was, when people say hi, was too embarrassed to even respond. He's that way. We need a leader in the House, not Milquetoast Mike, not somebody who tells us, okay, on immigration now, we need a path to citizenship. No, we need buses back across the border, okay? My wife is a Honduran. She is a legal immigrant. She fought and worked hard to get her. By the way, message for Mark Cuban, who I would punch in the face if I ever was in the same room. She's not weak and she's not unintelligent. And she's a Trump supporter, okay? And let me tell you a little bit about what we're up against. When she went for her final test, We had to go to Philadelphia, which is a cesspool now, thanks to the Democrats. And you're afraid to even walk down the street into the into the building where they give you the test. So she goes in there, and a woman comes out and says, "You're next." And I stand up to give my wife a hug and says, "You can't come in." I said, I wasn't coming in. I was just telling my wife, "Good luck, you're in my prayers." She turned and walked away. She's wearing, this is 2 years after the COVID panic. She has her mask on. 2 years. My wife goes in, she's very smart. She had studied for 3 years. She passes with flying colors. But she tells me is on the way home that this woman, this bureaucrat, undoubtedly a Democrat, the kind of people that they have staffed our entire government with, about 75% of whom need to be fired post-haste. This woman said to her, through her mask, "You wear a mask or I'm going to fill you in the test." I want that to sink in for you. I want that to sink in for you. That's what we're fighting. So don't tell me it's time to reach out and be nice and have a big tent. Everything be nice. Can't we just get along? No, we can't. Not after what they did to us. You are not garbage. You are not a fascist. You are not a Hitler follower. You are not anti-American, all of which you were called by the Democrats. And if you don't stand up and make that clear, that you will never again accept that kind of labeling, they're going to bounce back and be even worse, because they're going to make sure they are never thrown out of power again. So now's not the time for nice. Those who want to make nice, go play patty cake in the city park and let the rest of us do the heavy lifting. All right, folks, stay strong. Let's do this thing.